Welcome back to my channel. It's Chidima Favor. I want to encourage us. Please don't give up. I know it's not easy. You've been pushing. Please don't give up. God is still too faithful to fail. No matter what you're facing, pray. Read your Bible. Thank God for the ones He has done and believe Him to do the rest. I love you all so much. Okay, the reason for this gown is just to show us how to make these opening details at the down part that you can see. Okay, I know I've created a lot of free gowns now. Okay, so for the beginners, you can go ahead and try it. Please don't mind my scarf, I beg. All right, thank you so much for the love and support, for the shares, for the likes. God bless you. Please also leave a comment. Your comments are important to me. Okay, let's just go ahead and make this. You already know by now how to draft a simple gown like what I was wearing. I know by now you know how to do it. Okay, now this is the short length of my gown. This line I'm touching now, this is exactly where I want the opening to start from. That is my new area. Okay, you can make your own a bit down, you can make it up. Now from this new area, I'm coming up by 1 inch up, all right, and 1 inch down, so that after folding it in, I'll be using around 1 folding it. Okay, I used hemming gum in folding it. Even the previous last gown I sent, I also used hemming gum. The down part of this cloth was not sewn. I also used hemming gum. All right, so if you want to sew your own, go ahead and do that, but for me, I didn't sew them. I used hemming gum. And this gown, this is the first time I'm sewing a full gown without any lining. I just decided to try it, but you can also put lining for yours. Okay, so what I did here was just to connect the lines. All right, now after that, I'm going to take the measurement down to the actual length of this gown. Okay, that's what I did. I just connected this from down part of this gown. All right, I'm sure by now most of us will know how to do this. If it's the first time of coming across my channel, you're welcome to the family. You can join us, like my page, like my video, share and leave your comment. Now remember that this is the hip, okay, and this is my knee. That's the short gown length. I hope you understand. Now from this my short gown length, I just blew it out a little. I don't want it to be straight there. If you want your own to be straight, just go ahead and leave it like that. But for me, I just blew it out a little and connected it back to my armhole. I hope you can see my sleeve. Sorry, I connected it back to my sleeve. It's pretty easy. Okay, so when we are cutting now, we're going to remove these two lines. Okay, you see the way I'm going to remove it. I'm going to cut out that 1 inch, 1 inch I came up with. This 1 inch now, remember that's the one we came up with, Abby. The one in the middle is the actual length of the gown. I hope you are not confused, right? So I'm cutting it off this way. Please, to make this gown, unless you want yours to be 3/4, or I don't know, if you want yours to be 3/4, maybe you can use about 4 to 5 yards, but what I used is 6 yards. So what is remaining was that scarf you saw on my head, which is less than 1 yard. Okay, then you go ahead and cut all other lines you've drawn. Okay, you see this is how open it's going to be. So after folding it is going to be more opened. I hope you get that. All right, now these are the pieces I want to use to cut the details that we have there. Now that details, you can determine how long you want the stripes to be. If you want yours shorter, if you want yours longer, but what I used was about 16 inches. Okay, now you can see I used the hemming gum to hem that opening. That's what I used, hemming gum to hem the opening. Don't mind that child, is my neighbor's baby. They will not allow me to rest once they are back from school. Okay, they joined me to walk. Oh, all right, you see it. Then what I used was hemming gum. I didn't sew that. Okay, but if you want to sew yours, please go ahead and do that. You see, she's giving me the stripes, so thank you to her for working that day. She worked very well. She didn't only come to disturb me, but she also had to work. Okay, now the next, you can see what I used was 2 inches, and after sewing it I had 1.5, and the length I have here is 16. All right, is 16. Now I'm going to remove 1.5 inch that I'm going to use to join the side. You can see she refused to leave the camera even when I'm asking her to leave. Then I marked 3 inches. I want to use 3 inches, but it was too close because my the pieces I'm using, what will I call it, is a bit wide, is 1.5, so I had to go back and use 4 inches gap. 4 inches gap, depending on what you want. All this thing is depending on what you want. Play around with it, okay? Play around with it. I'm making this for most of us that don't like pencil gown and all of that. You can always make this in a different way. All right, go ahead and pin it. This one I had to put it under the clothes, under the clothes. All right, this one I put it on top of the clothes. If you want to use this type, you sew, turn and top stitch, but if you want to use this last one, just go ahead and sew on top. All right, I've shown us different method on how to attach it. You can either put under and sew once, or you put on top, sew and top stitch. So for me, I used under part. Okay, that was what I used. If you're watching up to this moment, you like it, join the family, please share my videos and leave your comments. Leave your comments, please. Thank you so much. I appreciate the effort you put. Now determine the gap you want. Determine the gap that you want to be at that opening, that detail. What is the type of gap you want? You can use 3 inches, you can use 2 inches, you can use 4 inches. Okay, depending on what you want. So when you are tying or when you're pinning this, make sure you use your tape to know the gap so that all of them will be equal. Now you can tie, you can use a pin to secure it in the middle and go over and sew it. Okay, depending on what you want. And another thing I forgot to add is, when you're cutting your gown, please add about maybe like 5 extra inches to your actual length. 5 extra inches, because this detail you might end up using 4. Okay, for the opening, both the folding and everything, you might end up using 4, but because you don't want it to be too wide, you will reduce it to 3. If you reduce it to 3, you don't need it to affect the length of your clothes. I hope you understand. So just go ahead and sew it, and that's all. All right, God bless us. See you in our next video.